right, let's go ahead and get started, everyone. Welcome to the Brokers Group's orientation. As you can see, we have an absolute jam-packed schedule. I'll get it all within about 45 to 50 minutes, depending on the flow of everything. But as you can see, we're going to cover about us, the services we provide, definitely the timing in the industry. This is a question we do get a lot. Different options for your money, for our clients' money, how we get compensated as licensed financial professionals, definitely our financial professional training. And then my favorite part is the next steps here with us. Okay, but before we get into it, let me introduce myself in greater detail. First name Mario, last name Fragomeno. I'm one of the co-founders of the broker group. I grew up in Pasadena, California, which is in Los Angeles County here in Southern California. And as some of you may know, Pasadena, Rose Bowl, Rose Parade, that's Pasadena. Okay, my original background is civil engineering. I graduated from UC Irvine, which is in Orange County, California, right in the middle of Los Angeles and San Diego County here in Southern California. So I graduated in 2006, and the housing boom was going absolutely crazy. So a firm based out of Raleigh, North Carolina, they wanted to capture this big West Coast boom. So they opened up a brand new office in San Diego, and I got recruited right out of school. So I went from Pasadena to Orange County, down to San Diego, young engineer, ready to take over the world. But to be very frank with you, I was absolutely terrified. It was my first big job offer coming right out of the university level. So naturally, what does a terrified 20-year-old do? Well, they're going to lean on their parents. I'm first generation here. My dad's from Italy. My mom's from Mexico. So growing up, we had a stereotypical Italian deli. And my life was seeing my parents work, putting in 40, 50, 60 hours a week, whatever it took to keep that business profitable. More importantly, though, whatever it took to take care of me, my brother, my sister. So before I started my career, I asked my parents, and they're the ones that told me, look, you need to have a real strong work ethic. And I took that to heart. I started outworking everybody to my left, everybody to my right. I started climbing that corporate ladder that we're all familiar with. I was fortunate that I landed Target stores as one of my top clients. So I was developing targets in Southern California, Northern California, eventually around the nation. Everything was going quite well for me as a young engineer. However, in time, I really got burnt out, right? If you take 40 hours in a week, that's your typical full-time employee. I was working 50, 60 hours a week plus travel time. My big wake-up call was in June. Okay, the firm I work for will do an annual assessment every June. I had a wonderful year for the firm, brought in a lot of clients, a lot of revenue, and I sat down with the senior leadership. Hey, Mar, we love you here. We're going to give you a 5% raise. And I remember thinking, I guess 5% is pretty good, especially when the average raise is 2 to 3%. But then I started running the numbers. I said, wait a minute here. I'm not going to hit the income I desire until way later in life. So I was frustrated. I was burnt out. End of the day, all I wanted was bigger and better on my life. I saw people that had more ownership, more freedom, more flexibility. I told myself, why them? Why not me? So I was frustrated. I was part of a business mentorship program in the San Diego area. It was my business mentor, Dave, during lunch one day. I told him how I felt. And he was the one that told me, Mario, have you ever considered a career in financial services? And I remember telling Dave, financial services, you're crazy. I don't know anything about finances. Maybe you're feeling the same way, right? I had my student loans. I bought a new car that I thought I could afford coming right out of college. I could even tell you how my 401k worked. Honestly, I did my 401k plan because after I got hired, I brought my human resource pack to my house, and my mom said, hey, you should do your 401k. That was my first introduction into investing. I said, well, how the heck do you expect me to be a financial advisor? I'm still trying to figure out my own finances. And I'll never forget what Dave told me. He goes, Mark, how many millions of people out there are like you that need a financial education? I was like, well, when you put it that way, yeah, there's millions of us. He goes, look into it. It's a beautiful career. I have a lot of friends that are advisors. It seems to fit your personality. Take a look at it. And I respected Dave. He was a successful business owner in the San Diego area. So I looked into the industry. I made the decision of, okay, let me transition careers. Let me go from civil engineering into financial advising. Like most of us, I had some insecurities. I had some doubt, but I said, you know what? I believe in myself. I'm determined because I was always been ambitious. I always wanted that freedom, that flexibility, right? I wanted to change my life. So I went from engineering to financial advising. Fast forward a decade now, I'm one of the co-founders of an amazing broker dealer called the Broker Group, right? So I love telling my story because a lot of people think you have to be a financial guru to be successful as a financial professional. That is not true. Okay. We are into people business. So if you're good with people, you speak well. If you're naturally competitive, you could do exceptionally well as a financial professional, especially if you have a positive moral compass about yourself, doing the right thing. This could potentially be that career that you've been looking for. Okay. But enough about me. Let's really start talking about who we are, how we help our clients. Let's get into some key financial planning. Okay, so a little bit about us. The broker group, we're definitely mission-driven origins. Okay, we were founded on a commitment of improving financial literacy for our clients because the reality is our school system has completely failed us when it comes to personal finance. So more than ever, we're focused on educating clients on what they have, what their options are, reviewing the advantages and limitations, assembling and customizing financial plans for them. These are some reasons why people do business with us, right? And our organization is set up and to create a fragmented industry so that we offer true independence, ownership opportunities, and a unmatched professional relationship with our business partners. Okay. We've had a lot of experience, a proven track record since 2004. All the founders together, I believe, have 100+ years of financial planning experience. So we created this wonderful new organization based on our experience on what people are actually looking for when it comes to their finance. Okay. And as I mentioned, we talk about education. So with our clients, we always tell them, look, you have strength in selection with us. We're independent. We're able to work with the best of the best. We have amazing professional relationships with A-rated financial companies, the best that you see here on the screen. How about a theme? Amazing in the industry. Global Atlantic, Foresters, Ethos, John Hancock, Prudential, F&G, and these to name some of the few. And we're only doing business with them on purpose. We want our clients to invest their money with the best of the best. More importantly, though, we definitely want our clients investing their money with companies that are going to be there for them as they enter the most important years of their life, which is going to be retirement. Okay, so it's no surprise on why we've been so successful. It's definitely not going to be surprised on why we're going to continue to grow in this industry the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Okay, which leads me to my next point. Okay, is our services. People wonder, what exactly do you do as financial advisors? How are you servicing clients? Well, we focus on the educational based financial planning. So the most important part, no matter what age somebody is, we're definitely going to talk about retirement. 401ks, 403bs, IRAs, Roth IRAs, making sure people are in position to actually retire. Okay, but how about family protection, life insurance? We are coming out of a pandemic. The data shows that Americans have less life insurance than ever before. The number one indicator of wealth is somebody's income. If something happens to that family, we want to make sure they're protected. So we play a lot of defense in financial planning while we're playing offense. And how about helping parents and grandparents put money away today for their child or grandchild? So when that child hits 18 or 25 or even 40, they have money for college. They have money for a down payment on a home, right? Head Start plans are quite popular with our clients as well. And long-term care, an area that wasn't really discussed 10 years ago. But because it's starting to hit at home a lot more, our own parents, our grandparents, the cost of the medical industry, we also implement a lot of long-term care protection to protect our clients from any future medical bills. And then business owner solutions, estate planning, right? These are the types of fundamentals that we're able to help our clients, and why we've been growing so fast is because the reality is people want to work with licensed financial professionals more than ever. So we're in wonderful position to capture this growth in the industry, because that leads me to the timing, right? So this is a question we get a lot, okay? Is how is the timing in your industry? And I tell people all the time, look, the timing is the best I've ever experienced. And it really comes down to three main reasons. One of them is we're experiencing right now, the advances in technology. I'm in San Diego, California. We have amazing people connected nationwide, instantaneously through the Zoom platform. Not only has that allowed us to educate clients locally, but because of the virtual meeting, we've been on a national expansion where our main focus is educating families nationwide. Okay, in the last 5 years, we cracked a code on how to be successful on educating people through a virtual meeting. But it's not only virtual, we also meet clients in person as well. Okay, but this has allowed us to not only expand our client services, It also has allowed us to expand the organization, and we've been working with amazing business partners already throughout the country in the Northeast, the Southeast, in the South, the Midwest. Give us a state. We have a licensed financial business partner that is educating somebody locally and nationwide here with us. Okay. Also, I haven't touched a piece of paper in years. Okay. The industry is completely on the computer now. Everyone has a smartphone in their pocket, transfer money, opening accounts, statements. Whenever you have an industry that's a lot more efficient, especially due to technology, that increases revenue, which increases profits for everybody. So one of the main reasons why the timing is so well to get a career in financial services is simply advancing technology. The second reason is we got to step back a little bit and look what's happening here in the United States. The industry is calling it the great shift to personal responsibility. Okay, more than ever, Americans have to take control of their own finances. The landscape has definitely changed. Okay, yes, we have Social Security, but we see headlines all the time. But hey, this program might not be even around by 2038, and that's not too far from now. And the clients that we meet with today that are on Social Security, it's simply not enough for them to retire on. So we definitely cannot rely on the government. Okay, well, how about our employers? Well, that data doesn't look good either. Okay, the days of working for 10, 20, 30 years for a company and then giving you a guaranteed pension or retirement, those days are starting to become obsolete as well. Only 13 out of 100 Americans meet the qualifications of a pension. That means 87% of us, almost 9 out of 10, have to save and invest for our own retirement. We cannot rely on our employer. And then personal savings. We see headlines all the time. 1 out of 2 Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. I've seen headlines where it's 2 out of 3 Americans. A $500 emergency will put half of Americans into negative. So we have some issues financially. But because of this, it's created such a high demand for our services because more than ever, Americans are waking up and saying, you know what? I need to get out of debt. I need to save. I need to invest. I need to take personal responsibility of my own finances. I don't want to rely on the government. I don't want to rely on an employer. Yes, the internet has amazing information, but there's so much information on the internet, people don't know what to believe anymore, right? They want to meet with an actual person, someone that's licensed, someone with experience, a great organization where we could build and customize a financial plan for them. Okay, so the second reason why the timing is the best of our experience is this cultural shift. The first reason was advancement in technology. Now, the third reason is simply at the right place, at the right time, at the right industry. How many times in your life have you said, man, if I knew that, or if I knew that, my life would be completely different? Well, I'm telling you right now, what's going on in the financial service industry is the greatest wealth transfer in United States history. It's the biggest opportunity there is. Okay. We're not talking about billions of dollars being transferred. We're talking about trillions of dollars with a T. Now, why is that? Okay. Well, it has to do with the baby boomer generation. Americans born from 1946 to 1964 is over 77 million Americans. And this generation owns more than half of the wealth here in the United States. Well, let's do the math together. This generation's all starting to retire. Okay. We're talking not for the next 1 or 2 years. This generation has already begun to retire, and it's going to be happening for the next 10 to 15 years. Largest wealth transfer in United States history. Okay. Also, in our industry, we have super high demand, low supply. The average age of a licensed financial advisor is actually 56 years old. He or she's getting ready for retirement in the next 5, 10, 15 years as well. So high demand, low supply, that creates amazing opportunity. Okay. And remember, money doesn't go away. When people pass away, and it's going to happen eventually, that's life, the beneficiary is going to get the money in the form of inheritance. So not only do we help senior generations, protect their assets, make sure they don't run out of money, but we also set up a estate plan so that when they do pass away, that money stays in the family and we're also able to minimize their taxes. And this is one generation alone. But then we have my generation, Generation X. We're not so young anymore, right? The media used to make it seem like we graduated from college. That's not true. We're buying our first home, our second home. We're starting families. We're having a second child, a third child. So the need for life insurance, Head Start plans, estate plans, also transfer retirement accounts from one account to the other, that demand is through the roof as well. And then you have my favorite generation, Generation Z. the most educated generation. I love this generation because they're wired differently, right? They value their freedom, their time more than ever. They saw older generations working and working and say, that's not what I want to do. 65 is way far now. So we actually sit down with a lot of people in their 20s and say, Mario, help me get out of my student loans. I want to save and invest today. I want financial independence. I want to retire early. So you can see we're in a perfect environment on the timing of these different generations. It's created such a high demand for our services. And once again, this is not going to happen for the next 1 or 2 years. So if you're looking for a career, somewhere you can plant your flag, build into it, we're going to stay hot for the next 10, 15, 20 years. It's just a beautiful industry, right? We're in the money business. It's always going to be a high demand when it comes to money. Okay. Now, let's switch gears here a little bit because one area that I completely underestimated by becoming a licensed financial professional was learning how money works for my own money, right? I got into this industry for bigger and better, more freedom, more flexibility. I want to control my time. I want to increase my income. What I quickly realized is, wait a minute here. I'm learning how money works. Stocks, bonds, ETFs, options, mutual funds. No one ever sat down with me and taught me this. How about the rules of taxes? We're going to go over that a little bit today. But a key fundamental that people forget about. Maybe you took one course in high school at the university level and it goes one year, one out the other, is the power of compound interest and the rule of 72. Okay, so let's cover this because these are the types of advantages you're going to give yourself by becoming a licensed financial professional. So what is the rule of 72? What this rule states is you take the number 72, you divide it by your interest rate. That's how long it's going to take your money to double without adding any additional money. Okay, so let's look at a real example. And this is starting to happen a lot more. We have a 29-year-old client. Okay, she receives an inheritance of $10,000 from her grandma passing away. Okay, naturally she wants to spend it. We're going to say, hey, don't spend it. Let's save it, invest it. She's like, okay, I want to save it. So when we hear the word save, automatically, because of the way society is structured, most people think I got to save it at the bank. Your Chase, your Wells Fargo, your Bank of America, maybe a local credit union, a regional bank. Point is, you want to save the money at the bank. But the bank is offering you a 1% interest rate. And you're telling yourself, well, I'm saving money. I'm making more than zero. But let's look at the rule of 72. 72 divided by 1. It's going to take 72 years for that account to double in size. She cannot wait 72 years to hit her financial goals. Shoot, nobody could wait 72 years. So what do we do instead? We educate her on the difference between saving and investing money. So we take this same 10,000, we put in an investment account that gets her 10%. So now we do 72 divided by 10. Her money is going to double every 7.2 years without adding any additional money. So by the time she gets to retirement age, that original $10,000 investment is going to grow to over $640,000. But here's my favorite part. Now that she understands the power of compound interest, she's much more inclined to actually investing money every single month on top of the $10,000. So one of the easiest ways to become a millionaire in our country, and they do a lot of studies and a lot of data on this. Okay, 80% of millionaires become millionaires after the age of 50. And one of the main reasons is their investment portfolio. They're investing money every month. They're letting it compound over 10, 20, 30 years. When they get in their 50s, 60s, and 70s, they have $1 million. So today, the United States has more millionaires than it's ever had in the history of the United States. And it's no surprise that one of the main reasons for that is the U.S. stock market is at near record highs. Okay, so power of compound interest, all about educating people on the key fundamentals. Okay, but a question we get a lot is, well, where do we get these different rates of return? How are you able to get them? Okay, and this is how we do it. We show clients different options for their money. Everyone has a different personality. What may be good for you might not be good for somebody else. It's really based on your risk tolerance. But we break it down to 3 key ways. Okay, we make everything simple for our clients to understand. It's understanding the fundamental and the concept first. Then based on the fundamental and the way money grows, we'll look into different investments within the way money grows. Okay, so we have fixed, we have variable, and we have index. Okay, fixed is quite popular, extremely easy to understand, right? You put money in a savings or investment account. The investment company is going to give you a fixed rate of return. So let's say it's 3%. Your account's going to grow by 3% per year. It's not going to go higher than 3. It's not going to go lower than 3. You're going to get a fixed set rate of return. That's fixed. Okay. People love it because you cannot lose money. There is zero risk. But the problem is the upside potential might not keep up with inflation, right? And I know a lot of you have felt it the last 5 years. I know I've been feeling it, especially with the cost of living going up, right? Just look at our grocery bill on a daily basis, the cost of food, just everything's gone up by 25%. Okay. So if your money's not making money, well, you're actually losing to inflation. This is why we actually have to invest our money versus only saving it, because we have to outpace inflation. Okay. So then we have variable investments, quite popular as well. But understand keyword is variable. Think US stock market or international stock markets. It goes up, it's created a lot of wealth, but understanding though, there will be moments where you're actually losing money. I could actually guarantee it, okay, that you will be red at some point in your variable investment. And look what we've gone on so far, right? So much emotion. They've done studies on this called a Dow bar study, where the stock market has averaged 10 to 12% since inception. Investors have only averaged 4 to 6%. And they say, well, what's the difference here? It comes down to human emotion. Because when the stock market goes down, people get emotional, they panic, they move their money out of the stock market, they try to time it perfectly, and then the stock market comes back up and they miss some great returns. Okay, so you have fixed, you have variable, then you have our most popular strategy. This is what we specialize in. Okay, I'm going to break down this strategy in a lot more detail in a bit here, but people love this because it's the best of both worlds. You're guaranteed to not lose money, and at the same time, your account gets credited based on the performance of a US stock market index. Okay, so ask yourself, how would you really like your money to grow? Financial planning is really A plus B plus C. If you're able to, you want to do some of all of it. Everything has advantages and limitations. So we help clients understand the different ways, see what they're looking for, and then we help them set up the account, and then we monitor and follow them throughout the years. Okay, so that's really what an advisor does. Okay, so let's switch gears. Okay, let's talk about the most popular way that Americans save for retirement. And understand though, just because it's the most popular doesn't mean it's the best. Okay. Americans save in these accounts because of the way society is really structured. I was one of them, right? A typical person is going to be a W-2 employee of an employer. And it's quite normal now for an employer to offer a company sponsored retirement plan. That's where the 401k comes in, the 403b. Or maybe you're in business on your own and you have an individual retirement account or a deferred comp plan. Okay, point being is it's a qualified retirement account. Now the question is, well, why should we even do these accounts? Well, the US government, the IRS specifically, actually gives us big tax incentives to participate in these accounts. How about tax deduction? Okay, if somebody makes $100,000 in a year, they contribute $10,000 to their qualified retirement account. Come tax time, they get to deduct $10,000 from their taxes. That's a big benefit. Okay. Also, the IRS said, hey, any monies within these accounts, you don't have to pay any taxes on any of the growth. We're going to make it tax deferred. Okay. Because end of the day, the government actually wants us to save a lump sum of money come retirement, because that means we're less of a burden on the financial system. That's why you put these incentives in. But hey, this is the IRS we're talking about. Okay. So of course, if the IRS is going to give us great tax incentives, they're going to put rules on these accounts, and a rule that impacts everybody because it's based on your age. It's what's called the 59 and a half rule. Okay, so the IRS says we'll give you deduction, we'll give you deferral. If you withdraw money from these accounts before the age 59 and a half, we're going to penalize you 10%. You will have to pay state income tax if it applies to you, but you definitely have to pay federal income tax, right? So advantages and limitations. Okay, I know that 59 and a half rule, it's a big limitation for a lot of people because 59 and a half could be 10, 20, even 30 years away for a lot of you. Okay, but let's say you didn't break the 59 and a half rule. You're ready to retire. You save up a lump sum in your 401k. You're feeling pretty good about yourself. In no way did the IRS say that these accounts are tax-free. They'll give you tax deduction, tax deferral. However, as soon as you start withdrawing from these accounts, even after the age 50 and a half, the IRS will come and say, hey, you owe us income taxes on the money. And that's only income taxes. Okay, how about other taxes we have to pay as Americans? How about property tax, gas tax, HOA fees, Melrose tax. Sales tax is a big one. Okay, I remember growing up in Pasadena, sales tax was like 6, 7%. Sales tax today is 10.25%. So don't forget about your taxes, right? So advantages and limitations. We love these accounts. We let clients know, take advantage of it. If you're getting a match, get your free money. If you're getting profit share, get your free money. But where we really add value to our clients is what else is out there. Because people aren't going to study financial planning on their own. They're going to do what's set up for them. And then they meet with us. We show them, look, this is what else you're able to do. Okay, so let's talk about tax advantage strategies. These are also my favorite types of accounts. Okay, but you have to understand that they exist and you have to understand how they work. That's why people do business with us. Okay, so what the IRS says is, look, if you invest your money in a municipal bond, let's say I'll use Pasadena because I'm from Pasadena and I've been saying it a lot. Okay, let's say the city of Pasadena wants to renovate the Rose Bowl and they're actually doing that, but they need $100 million and they're short $100 million. So they're going to issue municipal bonds and investors are going to give the city money, in the form of debt. Say, hey, here's your money. Give me 3 to 4% back. That rate of return is going to be tax-free. Pretty darn good. Okay. But understand they don't pay as much. You're looking at 3 to 4% on average, and this isn't a high interest rate environment. Okay. Less than 5, 6 years ago, muni bonds were paying like 1 to 2%. So if you're not keeping with inflation, this tax advantage strategy might not be the best solution. Okay. Then we have another account called a Roth IRA. This is an individual retirement account outside of an employer. Okay, if you are married, you could do one, and your partner could do one as well. Okay, and this account is you're paying taxes today, and then you're never paying taxes ever again. The government limits, though, on how much you can actually contribute to this account. It's only $7,000. Okay, and you have to qualify based on income restrictions. So once again, some limitations. Another big limitation is the money within a Roth IRA is typically invested in the stock market. So if you have all your money in a 401k IRA and a Roth IRA, if the stock market decides to drop 10, 20, 30%, you're losing money across the board. Okay. So there's a third solution. This is what we specialize in, our most popular. People ask us, is there a strategy out there that has tax advantages, that's liquid, you could actually access it before 59 and a half, that actually puts you in position to beat average inflation, has no contribution limits, right? People look at that Roth IRA and say, well, $7,000 a year, that's $583 a month. That's not as much as I want to put away. Well, is there a strategy where there's no contribution limits? And my favorite part that most people need, because we're human, we're emotional, a strategy that's guaranteed to not go down in value. So this is that indexing that we went over earlier. Okay, the industry calls it a life insurance retirement strategy. Okay, it's utilizing a permanent life insurance plan structured correctly for somebody's long-term investing or even their retirement. Okay, now on this one, there's an IRS tax code 7702 that allows somebody to do this. So let's cover the strategy because it is one of our most popular and it is a strategy that you will get very well versed in and most likely help clients in. So when it comes to life insurance, there's two types of life insurance. The first type is called term life insurance. That's when someone's renting coverage for, let's say, 10, 20, 30 years. If somebody passes away during the coverage period, the beneficiary is going to get a tax-free death benefit. There's a second type of life insurance called permanent life insurance. Keyword is permanent. As long as the policyholder keeps it active, they're guaranteed upon their death to receive a tax-free death benefit. Even if they pass away at the age of 115, as long as that policy is active, the beneficiary is going to receive a death benefit. Okay, so let's look at this example here of permanent life insurance. Here we have a client, they want a $500,000 death benefit. Some clients do more, some do less. In this example, let's do $500,000. And the client has to send in $75 a month to cover that $500,000 death benefit. That's what we call the cost of insurance. But we're going to take advantage of that rule of 7702 that allows somebody to send in extra money into their life insurance plan. That extra money goes into a savings account that compounds and grows with the stock market. Okay, so in this example, we're going to have the client send in 500. Some clients do more, some do less, some do a big lump sum. We structure and we assemble it based on what our client's able to do. But in this example, a simple 500 a month. Okay, 75 goes towards the cost of insurance. The extra 425 goes into the savings account. Now, the savings account within the life insurance policy has a lot of special properties. Okay. The first one is this savings account is not going to go down in value when the stock market goes down. So if the stock market goes down 10, 15, 20%, people are losing money in their IRAs, their 401ks, and their variable investments. In this one, the insurance company guarantees a floor of 0%. Okay. There's a cap of 13%, but what's great is some companies have no cap, some have a higher cap. Right now, the industry average is 13%. So let's play this over a simple 4 years. Okay. So let's say in the first year, the stock market makes 9%. And when I say stock market, I'm referring to the S&P 500, or it could even be the NASDAQ. If that index does 9%, client gets credited 9% in their savings account. And the whole time they have life insurance protection. Now, the following year, the stock market decides to go negative, it drops 12%. Well, we have that floor of 0%. Client's not going to lose any money, but you lock in your gain from the previous year. So if somebody has $100,000 in there, market goes up 9%, their account gets credited 9%, they now have 109,000. Market drops 12%, they have 109,000. Okay, so the following year, market rebounds, it goes up 15%. You'll get credited 13% because of the cap. So you get 13% on 109,000. Okay. Market decides to drop, it drops 20%. And people ask, does the market really drop 20%? It does. It drops 20% so often that they actually call it a bear market, right? A market that drops 20% from its highs. But in this case, market drops 20%. You have that guaranteed floor of 0%. So you still have 109,000 plus 13%. Pretty darn good, right? And the whole way there, you have life insurance. Okay, so let's play this through on how do we look at these numbers. Okay, so another area that I underestimated by becoming a financial professional is we actually get access to proprietary software working with these great A-rated financial companies, and you only get access to this software by being licensed. Okay, so if you're in the licensing program right now, highly recommend knock out this license in 1 to 2 weeks, 3 weeks max. If you're not in the licensing program after this workshop, contact your business partner and say, hey, I need to get started in licensing, right? Because I know with my background, I love numbers. As soon as I got access, man, I nerded out with the software. I built my own financial plan. I built my parents. I built my brothers, my friends. I just had so much fun with the software because I didn't have access to these tools. You have to be licensed, okay? So this one right here is a great company that we do business with, okay? Core Bridge Financial. And this is a typical client, John Smith, male, age 35, preferred. Now, we are doing it within a life insurance product. So clients do have to qualify for the life insurance. Okay, life insurance did not fall under the Affordable Care Act where there's guaranteed insurability. No, life insurance companies are going to look at somebody's health. They're going to look at their character. If you're wondering, character, what is that? Well, if somebody has a DWI, DUI, if they have a felony, misdemeanor, these are things that make life insurance companies come up with their decision. In this example, though, John Smith, he got a preferred health rating. I like to use a number scale, right? 1 being the best, 3 being average, 5 being below average. This client got a 1 health rating. Most people get a 1 or 2 health rating. You'd be surprised. Okay, and this client wants to do a simple $500 a month or $6,000 a year. Okay, once again, some clients do more, some do less. But in this example, $5 a month, the software says, hey, we're willing to protect them for $200,000. So client has $200,000 in life insurance. If he wants, he can also use that $200,000 for long-term care protection, right? These companies do allow policyholders to use the death benefit while they're still alive if they want to structure their policy like that, okay? So let's play this out. 500 a month, 6,000 a year. I told the software to take it to the age of 70 because that's when John wants to retire. And remember, when it comes to retirement, that's a number that you come up with. I know that society uses the age of 65 and 67. That's because of Social Security. But you can retire when you want to retire. Okay, so this client says age of 70. So we did $6,000 a year up until the age of 70, 35 years of investing. He put away a simple $210,000 into his plan. The whole way there, he had $200,000 in life insurance, up to $200,000 in long-term care protection. Then I told the software, look, my client invested $210,000. He now has $777,000 in that savings account within his life insurance plan. How much money can he take out every single year for the next 20 years? Because we're planning that the client's going to pass away at the age of 90. Okay, so the software says, look, John Smith could take out $65,000 a year tax free every year for the next 20 years. So he pulls out $1.1 million tax free. He passes away. Remember, we're doing it within a life insurance product. He's going to leave his beneficiaries a death benefit of $147,000 tax free. Okay. Pretty darn good, right? So you can see why people do business with us is because we're able to share the story, educate them, show them what they have, what their options are, see if this is a right fit, customize it, tailor it, really build a plan for what they want, not what their brother wants, their Uncle Bob wants, or what the internet wants. People want that custom service. Okay. Now, how do we get compensated? Let's stick with that example I just showed you. Okay. We start off everyone as a training associate, but when you see this, don't think of this like corporate America. It's not going to take you 5 years, 10 years, 15 years to get promoted. Okay. Training associates go to associate your first 30 to 60 days with us. Let's give it 1 to 2 months. We're going to help you get licensed. You're going to learn. You're going to get comfortable. We'll get licensed. We're going to get you clients. You're going to be associate. Okay. So we sit down with a family or individual. They want to add that index universal life strategy that we just went over. And they want to do a simple $500 a month. Okay. And $500 a month isn't that much money anymore, right? The average new car payment in the United States, if you include insurance and gas and electric, you're looking at over $800 a month for a new car. And we're talking about saving and investing money. Clients aren't spending here, right? It's one of the few industries where we get compensated by people saving and investing. Their account stays in the green, they don't have to go red. And what I love about our compensation is we don't get paid from the client. It's investment companies that we do business with. They are the ones that are compensating us. Okay. So as an associate, you're licensed. We sit down with the individual or family. They want to do a simple $500 a month. Some do more, some do less. But $5 a month, you'll get paid $2,700 direct deposit right into your checking account. Pretty darn good. Okay. Then you have my position, senior managing director. Someone does $5 a month, I'll get compensated $5,400 into my checking account. Pretty darn good too. Okay, but once again, don't look at this like corporate America. Promotions are happening so much faster because of the virtual meeting and the timing in the industry. Those three main reasons why we went over earlier. People are going from training associate to managing director in 8 months to 16 months. People are going from training associate to senior managing director in 2 years to 3 years. So everything's happening so much faster, which is quite exciting. Okay. Another way we get compensated is we really copy the business model of real estate. Okay. So let's say I want to sell 100 homes in a neighborhood, but I could physically only sell 25 homes. I'm 75 homes short. Okay. But I want to sell 100 homes. So I'm going to get business partners, licensed real estate agents, and we're going to sell homes together. So for every home that they sell, I'm going to get a piece of the compensation because they're going to do it through my agency. Okay. So not only do we train you to be an independent financial professional, we're also going to develop you and mentor you on how to build an agency through financial services. Okay. And that's where that spread comes in. That's additional compensation that you're going to get through your agency by training and developing other advisors. So you can see why financial services is one of the top paying industries in the world if you do it correctly with the right mentorship and the right training. Okay. But let's talk about the baby boomers, right? Because not everyone is going to want to start an account from zero. There's many times we meet with clients that already have a lump sum of money. Okay. So one of my favorite quotes from Warren Buffett, considered one of the greatest investors of all time. Hey, rule number 1 is never lose money. Rule number 2 is never forget rule number 1. So all too often, people are so fixated on trying to make as much money as they can. If you look at the all-time great investors, their main focus is to not lose money when the markets go down because they know when the markets go up, everything is going to go up. Okay. So let's talk about that. How do we play defense with our client? How do we protect their assets, guarantee so they don't lose money? But also, how do we generate a retirement paycheck for the rest of their life? Real quite popular in today's environment. Okay, so let's look at a client. Let's say they have a lump sum of money, in this example, $300,000. And this $300,000 could come from a CD account from the bank, their IRA, their 401k. Point being is they have a lump sum of money and they want to protect this lump sum of money. So what we're able to do is transfer this lump sum of money with one of the A-rated financial companies we do business with, and they're going to protect this money using that same indexing crediting strategy that we went over earlier, right? There's no risk, okay? Because when the market goes down, they don't lose money. When the market goes up, their account gets credited based on the market, right? It's that indexing crediting that we went over before, okay? But people say this seems too good to be true because I've never seen an account before where you're guaranteed to not lose money. Well, what's the catch? There's not a catch, but our clients have to sign a 7 to 10 year agreement with the investment company. Okay. But the good thing is, since they're signing an agreement, they typically waive the management fees. And management fees could really start adding up, especially on a lump sum of money. If somebody has a 0.5% management fee, well, 0.5% of 300,000, that's $1,500. Over 10 years, that's $15,000 that we save our clients in fees. That's pretty darn good. Okay. And a question we get a lot is, well, what if someone needs access to the money during the agreement? Well, they have access to 5 to 10%. So in this example, somebody can access $15,000 to $30,000 per year if they need access to the money. But remember, we're doing retirement planning, a long-term focus. People shouldn't be touching this money in the short term because we're setting it aside for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years as they enter retirement. Okay. So this is really for somebody that's looking for a higher return than a bank, but they want to remove risk of the stock market. It's that sweet spot when it comes to financial planning. Okay, so if we play this over 10 years, let's assume that our client got a 5.5% return, because these strategies are really built to get our client about 4 to 7% of their money. The last 10 years is to average about 5.5%. So we did a $300,000 investment that grew to $512,000 with zero risk, with zero fees. After the agreement, the client could keep the money there, or if they want to, they could walk away and do as they may. Okay, quite popular in today's environment, especially with what's going on right now with the aging population. Remove the fees, guarantees, outpace inflation, and we're only doing it with A-rated financial companies. Okay, and once again, this is how the software works. This is why you want to get licensed. Okay, so one company we do business with, a company called Athene, one of the best in the industry that offer this type of strategy. And you can see here a $300,000 investment has a premium bonus. Okay, so some companies, for opening a new account, they'll give clients a welcome bonus. So Athene is one of them. Okay, in this product specifically with Athene, they'll offer up to a 13% bonus. For opening an account, we have the opportunity to make our client $36,000 for transferring a lump sum of money. You're not going to find that at the bank. You're not going to find that in the stock market, right? You have to work with the right company, and we know the companies that offer the clients these types of strategies. Okay, so let's play this out. You can see here, now we have 336,000. Okay, assuming it does 8.25%, great, clients go make money. But what I love about this is, look at the 0%. You never see a negative because these accounts are guaranteed to not go down in value. They either stay flat or they go up with the market. So I love showing clients this because, look, client, you made money, you made money, you didn't lose money. You made money, you made money, you didn't lose money. Okay, so a big question we get a lot is, well, Mauro, I'm entering retirement, I'm getting senior. Let's be realistic here. What happens if I pass away prematurely? I tell clients, look, there's actually a death benefit. Your beneficiary is going to get the value of the account. And people love that because they're thinking, well, if I die, my family loses money. No, it's not like a pension account. It's quite different. If you pass away, there's a death benefit. Okay. Second question is, well, what happens if I cancel the contract prematurely? So we always want to make sure our clients understand that these are long-term financial strategies. Okay. 7 years, 10 years, 5 years. If somebody's already thinking about putting money away and canceling an agreement within 1 to 3 years, we'll simply tell them, look, this is not suitable for you. This is long term. You need to understand 7 years, 10 years, you have access to 5 to 10%. Anything more than that, you're going to have to get hit with a surrender charge. Okay. Why will you want to look at the money in a year, 2 years? And that's why we have that discussion. People understand that. Okay. So we always make sure that everything applies to the client. It's suitable. They understand it. And that's what gets happy clients. That's how you get referrals. And that's how you really build a long-term business. Okay. Now, because of high interest rates, and these baby boomers, and interest rates right now are at a 25-year high. Okay. We could really take advantage of it. especially with a company like Corebridge Financial, okay, or the company we do business with, is they're offering clients, say, look, if you transfer a lump sum of money with us, we'll guarantee you, no matter what happens in the stock market, we'll guarantee you a 10% rate of return for the next 25 years. We work with some companies that offer 15% a year for 12 years, 8.5% for 10 years, right? High interest rates are really good for our retirees and retirees. They're wonderful for savers and investors. High interest rates, not so good for car loans, personal loans, and mortgage, right? Because you're taking on debt, but wonderful for saving investors. So imagine being in your 50s and 60s. You're unsure about the stock market. You seem to go down, you seem to go up. You have this nest egg. And we show the client that, hey, on a portion of your assets, we could protect it guaranteed, and you can make 10% a year every year. And then once you're ready to receive income, they'll pay you a retirement paycheck for the rest of your life. And if you pass away prematurely, your family's going to get a death benefit. So you can see we're in the golden era of these strategies, really because of interest rates, because of the baby boom generation, and the current market conditions here in the United States. So amazing, amazing. Okay, now how do we get compensated on these type of strategies? Now we're not starting an account from zero. Okay, we're starting with a lump sum of money. And once again, the companies we do business with, they're the ones that are compensating us directly. It doesn't come from the client's pocket. Okay, so let's say we do a $400,000 rollover or a transfer of assets. Some clients do more, some do less. In this case, 400,000. Okay, 7% gets paid to the field. What I love about the broker group is all the founders, we all come from the field. So when we created this great company, we realized it's all about the licensed field force. It's not about the corporate. It's all about the people in the field. We need to give the most to them because they're the ones that are helping clients. They're educating and marketing themselves. They're shaking hands. They're doing meetings. They're exchanging numbers. They're representing the company. So we're going to send all the money to the field. And that's exactly what we did, right? Look at this compensation. So a training associate, once again, we're going to get you to associate your first 30 to 60 days. So you do a $400,000 transfer of assets. And once again, as I mentioned before, account values are as high as they ever been. The U.S. stock market is at near record highs. More millionaires than there's ever been in the history of the United States. Okay. As an associate, $400,000 transfer, you'll get compensated almost $13,000 direct deposit right into your account. How would that make you feel, right? Maybe you pay off that credit card, pay off that auto loan. Maybe you got those student loans that are lingering again, right? They turn them back on. $13,000 right into your account. Okay. What I love about it too is, I mentioned this before, is look, money doesn't go away. Your client's going to grow with you. This is why financial advisors do so well financially, because all the effort you do in 2025, it starts with you in 2026, 2027. Your client base grows, your assets under management grows, and then you're going to continue to grow with your client the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and even their beneficiaries, because you're still going to be in the career, right? So quite amazing. Then my position, senior managing director, 90%. Okay, so I'll get compensated $25,000. Look, this is better than real estate, right? And people say, well, why not 100%? Is look, we also have some overhead as a company. Okay, so 90%. But I'm fired up, and I know you're fired up too. And once again, we're going to teach on how to build an agency. Because when I first got into the industry, look, I didn't know anyone that had $400,000 or $500,000, right? I'm first generation here. I come from working class. But I got good in the industry. I got licensed. I started marketing. I started getting introduced to people that have 400, 500,000, a million, $2 million, right? And we're going to help you with the same exact way. But you can see good money to be made in financial services. Now, how do we help you? And how do we put you in position to be successful here with us? Okay. We have amazing world-class training program. What I love about this company is our ongoing learning culture. I worked at other companies before I founded this company, and man, they don't really train you. Here, we spend a lot of time training and developing of our business partners. We want to make sure you're in position to be successful. We created such a great plug and play environment for you to learn and develop to become the best of the best. I love to say that we create well-rounded business professionals that specialize in financial planning. Okay. It starts with live weekly trainings, all on the Zoom platform. It's going to feel how today feels. Every month, every Tuesday, every Saturday, those are our 2 big training days. We have additional trainings on Mondays and throughout the week. So you're never going to get a lack of live classroom-like training to develop yourself as a business person. Of course, we're going to cover financial knowledge. You will become an expert when it comes to money, stocks, bonds, ETFs, life insurance, long-term care, Head Start plans, estate planning. We're going to cover all of it. But we also cover the intangibles of what it takes to be successful. How about client acquisition? How do you guys find clients at the broker group? I can tell you what we don't do. We're definitely not doing cold calling. We're not just dialing all day, not the way we do business. We're not knocking on our neighbor's door, not the way we do business. We're going to teach you the different professional prospecting systems we have in place to help you acquire clients. It could be educational seminars, social media, centers of influence. We're going to teach you one that fits your personality the best. Okay. Also, we're going to help you with your leadership skills, your public speaking skills. We're going to make you good when it comes to technology. So that's why the well-rounded business professional that specializes in financial planning, that's the main point of the program. Okay. And it's not like it's a 3-month program either. It's not like you're going to start here with us in May and then all of a sudden be done in 3, 6, 12 months or whatever month you start the program, right? It doesn't work that way. Okay. We're constantly meeting and developing and making sure we're the best of the best because the markets are constantly changing. Okay. We also have licensing program. We are in a highly regulated industry. We're going to help you get licensed. We're going to start with your resident state. 1 to 2 weeks, 3 weeks max. The way we help you is we enroll you into online licensing course. What I love about this course is, look, it has all the answers to the exam. So imagine you found a copy of the exam in high school. Odds of you passing an exam are going to be quite high. Same exact thing here. The licensing program is going to go from chapter 1 to the end. A lot of practice questions are going to give you a score. It's going to give you the exam exactly so you're ready for it. 1 to 2 weeks of studying, 3-week max, knock it out. Okay. But not only do you come to class and help you get licensed, we're not going to say go figure it out. We're also going to do a lot of shadowing. Okay. You're going to shadow a senior person, whether it's me or another senior person here in the organization. It's our intention to show you how fun this career is, how easy this career is, right? All we're doing is having adult conversations with the people, showing them how we can help them, answering their questions, showing them solutions, and clients get started with us, right? It's our goal is to boost your confidence so you feel like, you know what, I could do these meetings on my own. And that's when you truly become an independent financial professional. And my favorite part that glues it all together, okay, glues together the weekly trainings, the licensing, the field training, is our business mentorship program that we have here in the organization. Okay. And they've done a lot of studies on success. And they've really broken it down to 2 key things. One is people are just in the wrong industry where unfortunately that career or that industry isn't going to compensate you as well as other industries. Well, financial services solves that. One of the best paying industries in the world. We're in the money business. The second one is the most important. People want to be successful, but they don't know how. They need someone that leads them toward financial success. That's the main point of the mentorship program. We're going to team you up with someone that's already successful, someone that's senior, someone that's proven track record on what it takes to be successful in life, in business, but more importantly, financial planning. Okay. And that's what I want to cover today. I appreciate everyone connecting. I appreciate everyone, joining us here today. As I mentioned, if you're not enrolled into licensing after this workshop, contact your business partner, get enrolled into licensing, start studying immediately. The best time to ever get started in financial services is here. Interest rates are going to remain high. The demand for our services, technology, that great shift of personal responsibility. Take advantage of an opportunity, whether you start part-time with us, ease into it, or maybe you're like me and say, you know what, let me just transition careers and start full-time. Everyone is different. We're going to work with you, and we're going to make sure that we position you to be successful here with us in a beautiful industry, which is financial services. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.